talk to me a little bit about data. So how does data inform creating an optimal environment?
So we actually have a business intelligence tool, which has a feed from our headcount tool, and that tells us everything about our spaces, and we try and look at our business intelligence tool as well and see if that can inform us when we're designing space. But more and more data is becoming, the piece that you really need to be credible, that when you're sitting down with the CFO and trying to make decisions, and it's not just anecdotal information that you're presenting, then you have hard and fast facts that you can present and that they can really relate to.
One of the big headlines from Jack was, our CEO Jack, was folks can continue to work from home. And that will be an ongoing, that'll be an option for them beyond the pandemic. As long as they want to work that way, they can work that way forever.
You can't show up at an office and you do not show up at the office. Resignation accepted. End of story.
We are witnessing in real time the F around and find out chart. And we just had two different entitled, now both former Twitter employees, after popping off on Twitter, F around and find out, trying to totally pwn their current boss on Twitter. Meanwhile, the mainstream media is absolutely losing its mind after Elon Musk ends the free lunch program at Twitter, which was costing him $400 per meal. And they wonder, however, will an average salary person who makes $200,000 or more be able to afford lunch? I'm not kidding you. This has been one of the most hilarious stories to date. I appreciate everyone tuning in and always leaving a like and hitting that subscribe button. I know it's a pain in the rear end, but it does help the channel immensely. Quick announcement. Holiday flavors have arrived. My company, Coffee Brand Coffee, we have a dozen different teas. We have more than a dozen coffees. We now have a brand new cocoa flavor, peppermint hot cocoa. We also have chocolate-covered espresso beans, chocolate-covered coffee beans for sale for limited time through the holidays only, because once it heats up, well, you can't buy them and you can't ship them anymore. So support the channel and check out coffeebrandcoffee.com, promo code TheQuartering to save. Now, Eric Fraunhofer apparently had something to say. So the other day, Elon wrote, "By the way, I apologize for Twitter being super slow in many countries. App is doing more than 1,000 poorly batched RPCs to render a home timeline." Now, the actual Android developer at Twitter, Eric Fraunhofer, said, quote tweeted Elon. He got a little bit of clout, which he's pretty happy about. "I have spent about 6 years working on Twitter for Android and can say this is wrong." Now, this is the thing. You can say it's wrong, but then you probably should provide some evidence as to why it's wrong. And also, you probably shouldn't try to publicly embarrass your boss on his platform. But I mean, that is the modern day employee, to which, of course, Elon sees and replies, "Then please correct me. What is the right number? Twitter is super slow on Android. What have you done to fix this?" A lot of the replies: 6 meals, 10 free lunches a day, working 2 days a week equals 6,240 free meals. Worth it. Bruh, how'd you get fired on your day off? Please let us know if you're employed tomorrow. Watching this play out on Twitter is amazing. A guy probably works on a part of the app that doesn't even handle the RPCs and confuses them with client-side service requests. And by the way, he's been fired. That's right. This is like, see Eric Fraunhofer. Langdon says, "Elon, with this kind of attitude, you probably don't want this guy on your team. He's fired." Now, has he actually been fired? He hasn't, he hasn't really said that, but he goes, he also says, Money Nerd Techie says, "I've been a developer for 20 years, and I can tell you that as a domain expert here, you should really inform your boss privately. Trying to one-up him in public while he is trying to learn and be helpful makes you look like a spiteful, self-serving developer. Maybe he should ask questions privately, maybe using Slack or email." And then he just gets rid of them. Like, now, I don't know. He hasn't tweeted since this. He says he's still at Twitter, but I don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm not exactly sure. Like, what is this? A saluting face, he's fired. So maybe he actually isn't fired. But of course, Twitter loves this. I mean, 90,000 likes. I don't know if he's just being sarcastic, but it would be funny if you couldn't, or if he was actually fired for it. Look, I actually understand, like, look, out of respect here, like, you know, if your boss is saying stuff that's wrong or whatever, it's okay to correct them. You should do that. That's what a good employee does. But in the reality of the world, you don't get to just scoff at him and try to publicly embarrass him. You see Count Dankula retweeting one of the best tweets here. Andrew Wortman writes, he fired 3/4 of the employees and now he's planning to starve the rest of them. He's failure incarnate. Because he's talking about Mr. Musk plans to begin making employees pay for lunch, which had been free at the company. Dank writes, oh no, how will the software engineer earning 6 figures buy a panini? I mean, like, literally nobody cares. And then this guy's been coping and seething like that. For all the I bring my own lunch crowd, that's a shame, but not relevant. Twitter was a company that provided lunch for its employees for free for 10 years and now is abruptly stopped because its CEO is a cheap pile of garbage. Gets ratio to, is this parody? And then you see Elon chiming in saying, I can't tell. Stop woke culture, JFC, Jesus, blah, blah, blah. They make over $100K a year. They can buy their own lunch. Failure incarnate, shows like Falcon Heavy. I mean, the fork and knife symbol denotes a business where prepared food is sold. Here is a bunch right near Twitter's headquarters. The rotisserie chicken and chicken fat rice at RT Rotisserie is great. Go for the Douglas fir sour cream as your sauce. Hopefully nobody starves. I mean, like, one of the most hilarious things, like, that, I mean, you gotta be kidding me. Here, Twitter pays an average salary of $146,000 a year, which is $70 an hour. Twitter pays the bottom 10% $106,000 a year, and the top 10% over $201,000. How will these people survive without free lunches? Like Kristen Ruby says, president of Ruby Media Group, I pay for my own lunch. What you are describing sounds more like socialism, where everyone expects everything for free. No one is entitled to a free lunch. I mean, it's like, and by the way, so then here's another former Twitter employee going for some clout. But you know what, you're a former Twitter employee, so you want to call your guy who fired you a liar. I guess I understand that. So Elon writes to Niche Gamer, okay, maybe they should learn to cook on November 13th. And then he writes, especially bizarre given that almost no one came to the office. Estimated cost per lunch served in the past 12 months is $400. So then Tracy Hawkins writes, this is a lie. I ran the program up until a week ago when I resigned because I didn't want to work for Elon Musk. Well, I better never hear you whine about how you can't afford stuff. For breakfast and lunch, we spent between $20 and $25 a day per person. This enabled employees to work through lunches and meetings. Attendance was anything from 20 to 50% in offices. First of all, this is clearly somebody who doesn't understand overhead. If you're saying the meal cost $20, what were the people paid to prepare that meal? What did the facilities cost? This is a classic like cog in the machine opinion. This is somebody who clearly doesn't understand business at a high level, even at a basic high level. Like, are those ovens and serving machines and all the stuff that you bought, was that not included in that $20 meal? To which, of course, Elon replies, false. Twitter spends $13 million a year on food service for the San Francisco headquarters. Badge-in records show a peak occupancy was 25%, average occupancy below 10%. There are more people preparing breakfast than eating breakfast. They don't even bother serving dinner because there's nobody in the building. Oof. 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 How does it feel to be publicly outed as a liar? That's not a good look on your resume. Lol, people everywhere working through lunchtime. I mean, you know, it depends. I try to get my employees to take their lunch breaks because it's good just to reset your brain. But most people would rather, like, and this is a pretty simple system that I always was fine with. Like, if you worked through your lunch and you wanted to leave a little early, I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like, the whole you must take your lunch break thing, you know, whatever. You know, while I was in office still, kind of DoorDash kind of became a thing. So, like, people would just never leave their desk and then they would eat their sandwich or whatever. I would try to take a little mental time off, watch the, like, Trailer Park Boys or something while I'm eating a Jimmy John sub. But, like, very few people ever ate in our break room even. I worked at a place with a couple hundred people, and our break room never had more than 5 people in it. Like, people just ate at their desk, or they didn't eat and they left early, or they went out and ate. And by the way, nobody expected. So Twitter was mommy and packed all the kiddies a lunch. You understand how ridiculous this sounds, right? What this is Elon's come in and said, no more adult daycare. After issuing return to office ultimatum, Musk is now eliminating free meals for the Twitter staff, arguing no one was even turning up to eat them. Well, it sounds true. It sounds true. I mean, he has to cut costs. And if you're talking about blowing $12 million a year on food that people aren't eating, not to mention all the staff that are paid to create that food and prepare that food for free. Look at all those, like that day in the life video. That girl was walking around talking about how great her job is at Twitter. I didn't see a single other employee. Nobody was in the office. So why were you providing free lunch for them? It was ridiculous. So this is like how real companies run. Look, you know, companies can buy lunch here and there. That's reasonable. But I wouldn't exactly expect my employer to buy me meals. This is like, you know, hey, pizza. You see, for comparison, Apple has always charged employees for meals at its San Francisco headquarters. I assume he did. I assume they did. Why would you give them free food? And also, by the way, I wouldn't want that to be a part of my comp plan either, because I probably wouldn't like it. I'm not exactly down with a water chestnut salad with a side of something called chutney, okay? I want like a sub sandwich or a burger or something like that. And that's probably not going to be on my, you know, company's buffet line. So, plus I don't want to eat pizza every day either. So this is just more reality setting in for these hilariously entitled brats, and you just love to see it. Quick reminder, I know I mentioned a lot about coffeebrandcoffee.com. All I ever ask is you go to the website, you check out the reviews. We have nearly 2,500 5-star reviews. We have reviews on literally all of our products at this point. Don't take my word for it. And by the way, if you've bought something, please, please, please do take a picture and leave an authentic, you know, a fair review. I would absolutely love it. The more reviews we get, the more people can buy with confidence. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.